Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of the Bullshit Podcast, a LARP focused podcast hosted to you by me, CJ, the guy that is talking directly into the microphone right now. This is going to be a LARP focused podcast, so it is kind of a niche market, so I'm not expecting to hit fucking Joe Rogan numbers and have Spotify offer me a shit ton of money to talk absolute nonsense. This is just me talking absolute nonsense for little to no pay, if at all. But the idea is to sort of... I don't want to do what a lot of LARP podcasts do, where they sort of generalize everything or focus everything on their local LARPs. There are two LARPs that I attend, and I don't want to sort of focus on that. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what your LARPs are, where you are, the style of LARP that you play. I am a medieval fantasy LARPer. I don't really do the post-apocalyptic or the vampire or the cowboy or any of those sorts of LARPs. Everything that I do is medieval fantasy, and I try my best to avoid a lot of the fantasy elements. To be honest, I like realism, so my main character that I play is a Viking style, and my side character is the only fantasy sort of thing that I really throw in, and he is an orc. But I've been LARPing for like 8, 9, 10 years. I don't really keep track because I can't even remember what I had for breakfast, so I'm not going to remember how long I've been LARPing. But I have been doing it for quite a long time, and I wanted to dedicate episode 1 of the podcast to how do you start LARPing or being new to LARP, those sorts of things. But before we get into the main theme of today's episode, let's get into a little bit of LARP news. In today's top story, Exodus is hosting Call of the Gods 2 Trial of the Champions, an immersive LARP experience and interactive story event. It will be held at the beautiful grounds of Mafeking Rover Park in Cavite, Victoria, and it will be held on April 19th to the 24th. Will you answer the call of the gods? I genuinely apologize for that cheesy ass voice. That's my bad. I know personally that I will be going to this event. I do plan on putting up my immersive camp, and I will be going with my brother and his son. So feel free to come down to Bull Camp. I'm going to be hosting a party at one point, hopefully, if I can sort of wrangle up enough people to come. But if you're interested in coming to Bull Camp's party, it's going to be a special celebration, and it's basically just kind of a big piss up, and we're just going to eat and drink and have a good old time. So if you are coming to Call of the Gods, please come down to Bull Camp. I will be camping solo or separate from everyone else with the bulls. So if you can find us, feel free to come down. We are going to be having an event there during the main event of Call of the Gods. In other news, Swordcraft is hosting a market and community festival this Saturday and Sunday, so the 2nd and 3rd, and it's going to be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is going to be an in-costume event. They're going to have blacksmithing demonstrations, art demonstrations. Team Kraken will be there. There's going to be general market where you can buy costuming, props, weapons, anything that you really need to set your character up will be available. And there's going to be German style food, which I'm very excited about, but the main thing for me would be there is also a bar, but obviously drink responsibly. But this event's going to be, again, from Saturday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Get down there, look into what they've got, support the people that are going to be opening up their stalls, because this is sort of going to help them and help you, so it's a win-win situation for everyone. So get down to the Swordcraft Market. This one is going to be held at Mont Delancey Historical Homestead, so if you've got time, they've got the products. So getting back to the main theme of today's episode, starting LARP, beginning LARP, the start of your LARP career, that sort of thing. How I got into it is just one of those stories where you get like the dude that just thinks LARP's nerdy and doesn't want to be involved and thinks everyone's a loser, blah, 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 blah. I was pretty ignorant at the time. I was younger. Don't judge me, don't cancel me. And my brother said, hey, do you want to go down to this thing called Swordcraft? There's a LARP happening in Australia, and I want to go down there and check it out. And I was like, nah, bro, no, that's not me. That's not me. Nerds. No, I'm not into it. But he kept sort of going at me and saying, come on, come down, just have a look, have a listen, have a watch. You don't want to just listen, that'd be boring. But yeah, watch what's happening and maybe have a go. And I was like, oh, fuck, all right. He kept harping at me, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. So we go down there, and there was an elf with a really light elven sword. Like, it kind of looked like some shit that Legolas would use. It may even be a Legolas blade, I don't know. Didn't look at it. But I just saw him jumping in and out, slapping his friend with the sword. And they were just lining up. They weren't... The game hadn't even started. We were just sort of standing in line. And this guy's slapping the absolute piss out of his mate. And his mate had a big axe. And I was like, why are you standing there just letting him smack you? Like, run his ass over. You got an axe. This guy's got a little fucking dagger. But in the end, I was watching that for a little while. And my brother's getting closer and closer to the, let's just say, cash register sort of thing to sign in. And I was watching it for a little bit, and I was like, nah, fuck it. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Because the introduction to LARP for me before this point was the movie Role Models and things like that, where they sort of poke fun of people that go to LARPs, make everyone seem really nerdy and lame. And to be honest, that I felt that way. So when I rocked up, I was wearing purple shoes with camo print MMA shorts and a black shirt. So I looked like an absolute tit. Even now looking at that, like, why was I wearing that? How am I making fun of LARPers when that's what I was wearing? It's like I was foot fucking 2 grimaces from McDonald's, and I didn't want anyone to see my midsection, so I had the camo print on, and then a black shirt like all the... It just fucking makes no sense. I look like an absolute tit. But I remember it, and I ended up getting involved, and I was like, all right, I'll sign up, I'll do it. So I paid my money, went in, they gave me a loaner sword, which is just like a rental sword. And I was like, all right, fuck it, let's give it a go. And I had the best fucking time. Like, I had so much fucking fun just running around smacking the piss out of people. And slowly I felt that, I don't know, I'll say stigma sort of melt away. I was no longer the guy that was just like, this is lame, why are you doing this? I slowly became a LARPer. I just sort of fell in love with it. Like, just going every Friday, smacking the shit out of some people, having a laugh, meeting some people, going home and telling stories. And that's a big part of the fun that LARP is the drive home, discussing what you did. Like, oh bro, you should have seen it. There was this one guy that was over on the wing, and I snuck around behind him, and I chopped at him. Like, those sorts of moments, I think, are what makes LARP so special, is the memories and relaying those memories onto the people that you know. So that's pretty much how I started, and I've been doing it for about, as I said, 8 or 9 years, but I haven't kept track. One of my tips for people that are starting LARPs is, once you've figured out where the LARP is and when you're doing it, and you've got your basic kit, so just wear black pants, black shoes, black shirt. Every LARP's going to let you in with that. But just be confident enough to, one, do the damn thing, like swing the sword, and don't be scared to hit people. The swords hurt when you hit them in the wrong spot, or if you hit too hard, but if you're not a douchebag, you're going to figure it out pretty quick, what's good, what's not good. But the other big part of confidence is being happy to talk to people. If you're not willing to strike up a conversation or jump into a conversation and meet new people, the sport or the game of LARP is going to be a little bit more brutal for you, and you may not last. You need to make friendships. You need to sort of open yourself up. And I know that LARP is one of those sort of sports where everyone's got some fucking mental condition that sort of roadblocks them and makes them feel like they can't do this, or they shouldn't do this, or they'll be awkward if they try. And I understand that's a valid point. Like, a lot of people have those sorts of issues, and I do to a degree, but I'm also kind of a confident person when I get to know people, and I know that, so it gives me the confidence to talk to people, start that conversation, and then I'm good from there. But some people just don't have the confidence to take that first step. But you need to with LARP, because if you're coming every Friday, or you're going to one of the camping events and you don't have friends, you don't have people that you can talk to, and I don't mean you've got one or two people you do it with, that's still going to be kind of a boring experience. You need to be willing to open up and have conversations with large groups, fight large people. You have to have that confidence. So where was I even going with this? Fuck, I talk a lot of bullshit. God damn. Where was I? So I play a character that stays by himself. But if you are by yourself because you feel uncomfortable, that's bad. You can't have that. And I go out of my way. I will see people that I know are like that, and I'll talk to them, because I have this thing where if someone's just starting LARP, I want to see them again. I don't want to see them one time only. That's it. I want to see every new player again. So when you come into the game, and I'll focus mainly on, say, a Friday night battle game, which is what we have here in Australia, right? Every Friday, they host a battle game, and it's 200 people or so standing across the field from each other, and then they just run in and smack the piss out of each other. I will find the newbies deliberately and go out of my way to let them kill me. So they will then go home and be like, oh mum, there was this guy and he had like this big axe and he was running at me and I hit him in the chest and he fell down, he was dead, I killed him, and that's the only person I killed. If I'm the only person you killed and you're happy to tell that story and you're excited about killing a guy that looks like he knows what he's doing, you're gonna come back. And that's a big focus for me. That's what I want. I want people to return, play the game, enhance their skills, their kit, and all that sort of stuff. And then eventually, hopefully, they'll be like me. Sounds arrogant, douchey, I know. But they'll be like me and they'll want new players to continue to come in. So they'll do the same sort of thing. These are the things that I think turn a new player off. When you get into a fight and someone intimidates you, a lot of new players don't want to be intimidated. They want to sort of just get in there and have a biff. They don't want you to scream in their face, swing a massive hammer at them, make them feel like they're just going to get pummeled. A lot of the time that will turn people off and they'll just not come back. Another thing that really turns new players off is they are taught to count their hits. So here in Australia, we don't count out loud. You have to count it in your head, and there's an honor system. So if I've got X amount of armor on, I'm on, say, 10 hit points, and I get hit 10 times, I die. That's me. I'm done. So I have to take a knee or lay down or whatever it may be. But you do get these douchebags, and I noticed it 100% when I first started playing, is there's these people that think that they're better than everyone else, and if that's you, you're a doucher. But they think they're better than everyone else, and they'll take 15 hits when they've only got 10 hit points, and then they'll just walk away and get healed and come back and slap the shit out of you again. And I know that there's people, I used to call them the epics, right? Because there's certain games where you'll fight an epic monster and you can't kill it. You just can't kill it. It's got too many hit points, and you'll smack the piss out of it, and then it will just one-shot you or it'll wear you down. So there's these players that I call the epics, and I won't name them because I'm not trying to go full douche on this, but I will talk my bullshit.
I would hit these people so many times and they would just stand there, walk away, get healed, and then come back and fight as if nothing had happened. And I know for a fact that I've killed you. So I would then go out of my way to either not die when they hit me, or I just wouldn't fight them full stop. They don't deserve my time. I'm just going to go and fight someone that I know has honor and honesty, and they're going to die when they're meant to die. I sometimes won't count my hits, and this is me being absolutely honest with you. I won't count my hits, one, because I'm a dipshit and I can't keep track of that while I'm slapping you with an axe. But what I do is, if I take a couple of hits, say I've got 10 hit points and I take 6 hits, the next big hit that I take, I will drop. But from the point that I decide that I'm going to die, I will not hit you. I will deliberately hit your sword, your shield, miss. I'll do everything I can to make it look like I'm fighting you, but I'm not going to hit you. And I think that a lot of people play this way and a lot of people don't. And I wish more people played this way. So I will take 6 hits, and then if you get a nice swing and it hits me in the chest, you got me. Even though I may have a few extra hit points left in the bank, I'm not going to worry about it, because I'm giving you an experience where you've killed someone and he went down like a sack of shit, and it makes you excited and you move on to the next guy and you're amped up, and everyone gets that adrenaline dump when someone dies in front of them. That sounds morbid. But if you kill someone that's got all the armor and all the weapons and looks the part, and you kill them and they drop dead, it gives you that adrenaline boost, and you keep pushing and you go to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And that's what I want. So new players, don't be scared of the big scary looking people, the ones that look like you're never going to kill them, because you may get the people like me, the absolute legends, the angels among men, that will let you kill them even if you don't technically kill them. Another big bonus, I think, for newer players is you have the ability to get away from a lot of things. A lot of newer players don't have a lot of armor on, so if you do get into a fight that you're not going to win, don't be scared to run away. It may be mildly embarrassing to sort of get into a fight and go, oh fuck, I'm going to get slapped, and then do the piss bolt. But if you run away and then come back and hit them in the back or something, that person's going to remember you, and they're going to hunt you down, and they're going to give you another experience. You're going to be hunted by people, which makes you feel like a badass, and it gives you that little sense of urgency. But definitely don't shy away from a fight. If you get into a situation where you're fighting someone that is going to kill you, you can escape, you can run away, get healed and come back. But as a newbie, generally you're quite light, you're fast and nimble, unless you're big roly-poly, then yeah, obviously running's not going to be a strong suit. But intimidation might be, so you might be able to intimidate a veteran player if you have enough confidence. So that sort of circles back to the confidence thing. But coming in and just thinking, I'm the hero, I've killed 100 dragons with my bare hands, and I use their tails as a condom, that's not going to work. Everyone's just going to think you're a dick. So come into a LARP fresh. And a good way to do it is to come in basically as a peasant. Don't come in with a story written where you're a king or anything, because no one is going to respect you as a king. If you come in and you look the part, you might get a few people that will respect you, and you have to have the confidence to pull that off. But for the most part, new players don't come in thinking that you're dragonborn, gonna go and fucking fusrudar people off of cliffs, because no one's gonna respond to that. And that's fair. Like, why would you give a shit about some rando dude coming in and acting like he's top shit when you've never met him before? The last tip that I want to give to newbies before I sort of wrap this up is definitely if you are coming into a LARP, you have to be willing to spend a little bit of money, and if you're smart, not a lot of money. So there's one thing I call an essential when it comes to LARP, and that's a weapon. You don't want to be renting weapons every time, because their swords at rentals are generally kind of a short sword, and it's not you. You don't get to play your character. You're forced to play guy with sword. You don't want to be generic guy with sword. You want to be your character. So the first thing that you want to really put a bit of coin into is going to be your weapon. You have to be willing to put a bit of money into that essential thing, just the weapon. The rest of it you can do on the cheap. Me and my friend James, we would walk down the road and we found a old leather couch that someone was throwing out. It was on the nature strip. And we went back there with box cutters and sliced that couch up and stole all the leather and just left this foam blob in the shape of a couch on the side of the road. Which, to be fair, if that was my house, I would have been kind of pissed. But there was just two random dudes with box cutters stealing leather. Like, what are you going to do? Run up on them and tell them, put the box cutter down there, boy. We're going to give me my leather back so I can throw it out. Like, as soon as the garbage truck comes, your foam couch is gone. So don't worry about it. But we built kit out of just old leather scraps from an old leather couch. I got a lot of my kit from costume sales, so old theatre companies that were throwing out a bunch of their shit, so they just sell it. And we went down there and we got most of our orc costume for like $12 each. It was ridiculous, like so cheap. And the last thing that you really need is, we call it soft kit here in Australia. I don't know if everyone calls it soft kit, but it's basically just your clothing, not your armor, not your trinkets and bits and bobs, but just your clothing. Soft kit is generally quite easy to get for the cheap if you go to op shops, things like that. Focus on that, because if you think that you're going to come in there and within a week look like friggin' Prince Arthur's, that's his name, out of Warcraft. I didn't play Warcraft. I don't know why I use that as a reference, but come in looking like the dude out of Skyrim, Dragonborn. Like, you're not going to look like that. You have to build up slowly, and you don't want to spend a lot of money straight away, because if you, for some reason, don't enjoy the hobby, you're just going to end up wanting to sell all that stuff and you'll lose money. So, yeah, that's the last tip that I really have is come in and work on your kit slowly, but focus on getting a weapon first, because if you don't have a weapon, you're just a meat shield and you're not going to really do too much. Outside of that, just on the backside of the podcast here is I just want to talk about the types of people that I want to bring into the podcast. So I want people that are confident enough to have these conversations, answer tough questions, answer personal questions. If you feel like you're one of those sorts of people, contact me, put a comment down below, let me know, hey, I want to be on the podcast. If you could get me on, that'd be great. And I'll pick and choose. I'm not going to put everyone that asks me on, because I don't know how successful this is going to go, but I might end up with like 100 comments saying, pick me, and nah, fuck off. But I will pick people that interest me. So again, I might pick people that I can't relate to on a personal level. So personal experience. So I might have someone from the LGBTQI flibbity-flobbity-flu community. Because I'm not a part of that community. I'm friends with so many people that are, but I personally don't know the challenges when it comes to getting into a LARP and how people see you, how people react to you, things like that. I also want to get people in the podcast that have similar interests and also complete polar opposites. So if you do a cowboy LARP, let me know. I'll get you on the podcast. I want to hear about it, because I don't know anything about cowboy LARPs, but they look cool and I love cowboy shit. So it might be a really good conversation. But again, if you want to get on the podcast, all you got to do is comment down below, or you can even suggest someone that you know. Let me know their details, and if they get in touch with me, sure enough, I'll try and get them on. But The other thing that I want to do with this podcast is it will be going onto my Patreon. If you do want to support me, there's 2 ways to do it at this stage. You can go to the Patreon, obviously, become tier 1, 2, or 3, and that way you'll sort of support not only the podcast but my video projects as well. So I want to make short films. I wanted to do a reality show, but that sort of fell apart a while ago, and I do want to do that, but I need the equipment. And the more I got into it, the more people said, no, you need to have lapel mics, no, you need to have a boom mic, no, you need to have this camera. And it just got to the point where it was too much for the funding that I had. I didn't have pretty much any money, really. So you will be helping out with that. And if you do become a Patreon member, then I'm going to shout you out every episode. I'm going to put your name at the end of every episode, and I'll thank you personally if I can. The benefits are listed on the Patreon, so have a look at those. If you can spare some coin and throw it at little old me, oh please, may I have some coin? Please do, because I am an absolute tit, and I will be making it very transparent where all the money's going. I don't want to sort of have a vlog where I'm sort of in the fucking Bahamas and you're like, well, why? Well, hang on, where's the money going again? I thought we were making videos. And there's me fucking making videos, drinking fucking margaritas on the beach and shit. But again, yeah, thank you for listening. I do want to try and do this every week, so if you're interested, keep putting comments down below. I'm probably going to do it whether or not people listen anyway, and then in 100 years people might go, hey, look at this shit, this guy's talking some bullshit, and then they might get interested then, and I'll be dead, so it won't matter. But thanks for listening, guys. I will catch you on the next one, and here is a message from my cute, adorable 3-year-old supporting my other stuff. Thank you.
Please like and subscribe for more notifications.